Welcome to the Whiskey Vault. I'm Daniel Whittington, Chancellor of Wizard Academy and Whiskey Marketing School. It is raining, and raining hard. You're gonna hear noise outside of water dripping on a metal roof. That's because we had to shoot. So, this video is about what happens when facts change, and how do you handle that. I did a whole video on hold your opinions loosely. For one, because people are more important than opinions. But also because as you age and learn and grow, your opinions change. And when you look back through history, you'll be shocked at back then you. This is different, but it's in the same vein. What do you do when facts change? I have faced this a lot on this channel and in developing the school because the craft whiskey distillery is an ever-changing environment. I always say the most you can do with the knowledge you have is sort of present it with an open hand, hold it gently, and offer it almost as an offering to the room instead of a commandment of truth and real. Because sometimes it's not real anymore, and someone goes back in time and watches your old video where you make this very specific claim. Well, you know, it's not true anymore. That sort of eliminates that entire thing. And so you sort of have to offer, here's where things stand right now, and based on that, here's what I think. Thank God there are some things that don't change, like chemistry and how yeast, like whiskey production mostly doesn't change. But that being said, our assumptions of what's happening during whiskey production are regularly proving to be wrong over and over again. Even in the last 5 years, things that were just industry known, this is how it works, this is what it is. Scientific studies are now proving to be like, actually, no, that's not true. Balcones did a study with Independence Dave Cooperage and several other distilleries about weather impact on aging. And they took, Balcones whiskey and sent it all over the US. People did barrel trades and they tracked the process of the aging of Balcones in all these different environments. And I'm not going to unveil that study because I've only had small conversations. I don't know all the facts on it, but I know enough to know about what happened that it kind of altered, it confirmed some things we knew about aging in Texas, and it also completely invalidated some of the things that we sort of defaulted to. This is a truth of aging in Texas. It was very humbling. And I think that it's very important to know when you have what you think are facts, you got to stay humble, stay present, be in the room, and be open to new information. But as you grow in life, your opinions alter and shift, and we're going to talk about that and talk about category things in a second. First, I want to talk about Glenglassaugh Portsoy. Now, I grabbed this one off the shelf because after I had that previous experience with Glenglassaugh, I really wanted another one. Rachel Berry on Sandend blended a really just beautiful whiskey. And I knew this was the peated version. Some of you guys mentioned it in the comments. It's like, oh, you got to try the peated version. And I was like, a peated version, I'm all in. And so I got this one. And this is my first time opening the bottle and taking a smell. Ooh. Wow. This is strangely really fruity, but with a salty, briny air note floating around it. But it's very fruity. It smells a little grain, not green, grain, G-R-A-I-N, a little malty, which means it's a little young, but it's kind of vibrant. There is a hint of smoke, campfire, but it's vague. But this is a very light, the sharpness is salt, and then bright fruits, and then a soft sort of glaze of smoke, like a soft fog sort of hovering through. Smells great. Okay, let's try it. Oh man. I like that. It's softer than I would have wished. What is that? What? I might need to add some water to this and see what happens. This is 49.1%. It does not drink like that. It drinks very soft and buttery. I was about ready. I would have put money on this being 43 on the palate. Am I taste blind right now? What happened? No, it's still soft. It's soft berries and cream, and then that smoke just sort of cracks through and unfurls. Like, ooh, there it is. Ooh, there it is. Have you ever seen those little smoke cocktail things where you smoke something and then you stop and then you pull the top off and the smoke goes broiling out of it? It feels like that, where you took a sip and it's still that sweet fruit and then it goes crack and then the smoke sort of crawls through and it's still salted caramel through the middle of it. I'm gonna add a little water just to see if that brings some of that. It does not drink like almost 50% alcohol. Man, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Rachel Berry, it turns out. Oh man, got way better with water, and better is relative. I prefer it more. It softened the smoke and just exploded the fruit way out to the front. That's brilliant. Man, I'm gonna need to keep this in my house. I'll get my own, I won't steal it from the vault. Gosh, that's good. Okay. Man, well done, Rachel. Actually, it feels weird calling her by her first name. I don't know her, we're not friends. Madam Berry. I can't count how many times as an instructor at this school in the last 10 years of whiskey marketing school, which by the way, 10 years of whiskey marketing school this year, and our next level one is in June, I think. We would love to see you. I'm gonna consider everybody who's been regularly viewing this channel an alum. Reach out to me and let me know if you want to know what the alumni discount is. I'll show you how to get it. I can't count how many times we've had to change our slides as instructors at Whiskey Marketing School because I built an entire presentation and then 3 months later, something completely alters and 2 of the slides are factually wrong. It's infuriating. Because often I forget that we are teaching fundamentals, but we're also kind of making them currently relevant. And sometimes I'll get into a slide and I'll be like, click. That's not true anymore. So delete that from your memory. I need to back off and I'm gonna edit it right now. I mean, crap, in the last several months, the TTB changed the beverage code in America for the federal beverage code for the first time in almost 60 years. And I'm gonna have to add a whole new set of slides to our Whiskey 2 and completely alter a bunch of slides in Whiskey 1. And that's how it works. And if anything, I learned very quickly on YouTube that I could state something that I knew was a fact that within a month was not a fact. And then all of a sudden, all the comments in that video now, as people show up to it for the first time a month later, are like, that's actually not true. They're actually blah, 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 blah. And you have to just, I was in a conversation last week talking about a distillery that I have done a lot of research on. And I made a statement about this fact. And then someone else in the conversation was like, hey, so actually they changed that about 6 months ago. So it's not true anymore. And I was like, son of a, I just can't keep up. So I think my life lesson is, well, first it's, dang, that's embarrassing. How do you handle it? I think my life lesson is, you just gotta remain open to being wrong at all times. With your opinions, even with things you think are facts. Just hold your knowledge loosely and always be ready to learn. Always be ready to learn. And always from the most surprising corner of your world will you learn something new. And it's always there for you. Cheers to you. This is great whiskey. Oh, I'm really glad you're here. Prepare to be wrong a lot. About a lot of things. About facts, opinions, feelings. But you're never wrong liking and subscribing to the Whiskey Vault YouTube channel.